Welcome to Linda's Storytime. The first story I'm going to share with you is The Woman at the Well, taken from John chapter 4. I come to this well every day, and it's here that my life changed. For one day when I came, I rounded that corner just over there, and as I did, I noticed there was a man sitting at the well. I hesitated just for a moment, not for long, because I needed water. And as I walked towards the well, he leapt to his feet, which shocked me really. And he said, "Will you give me a drink, please?" That shocked me even more. You see, there were so many differences between us. For a start, I'm a woman and he's a man. And a man would never speak to a woman on her own, not a woman he doesn't know. And he didn't know me, never met me. But then also I noticed he was a Jew and I'm a Samaritan. The two never really meet. We don't talk to each other. We don't eat or drink together. If they were seen drinking and eating with a Samaritan, they'd be chucked out the temple or told off for doing it. But here he was, asking me for a drink. So, not being too shy about coming forward, I said to him, "But you're a Jew and I'm a Samaritan. Why would you ask me for a drink?" And he smiled and he said, "If you knew who was asking you for a drink, you would ask for life-giving water." Again, being a bit direct, I laughed again. And I said to him, "But you haven't got a bucket. How can you give me life-giving water?" He smiled. And he said, "If you knew who it was who was asking you, you would, as I say, ask for life-giving water, and that water would be like a spring within you. And you wouldn't ever need to come here again for water." This was getting a bit deep for me. I was getting a bit confused. And I said to him, "Well, if you can give me water that's continuous, do it, because it means I'll never have to come down here again. That would be great." And then he looked at me and he said, "Go and get your husband." Now, I didn't lie. I told the truth. "I haven't got an husband," I said. "I haven't got one." To which he smiled again and he said, "No, you've had 5 husbands and now you're living with someone." How could he know this? He'd never met me ever before. How could he know these things about me? I decided then to change the subject very quickly. Didn't want to talk about my relationships. And I said to him, how come you Jewish people decide that we should actually worship down in Jerusalem? And yet us Samaritans, we know it's fine to worship here on the mountain by this well that Jacob gave us. You tell us we're wrong for doing that. And he said in so many words, one day, it won't matter where we worship, as long as we worship God in spirit and truth. This was becoming a really interesting conversation, and I wanted to stay and talk longer, but then I noticed his friends had come back, his disciples, followers. And as soon as they looked at me, I could tell it was time I probably moved away. So I picked up my water jar and I rushed off. In fact, in rushing off, I wasn't rushing away as such. I was rushing back to my village, to the people who for a long time had actually, well, they shunned me a bit. You see, I'd come to the well quite often at noon. Not these days, though. I've got friends now. But then about noon, because it was the hottest part of the day and nobody was here. So as I walked into the village, I started to shout at the top of my voice, "I've met the Messiah! Do you think it really could be him? Come and see!" People turned to look at what the silly woman was saying. And they came to me and they asked, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, he knew everything about me," I said. He knew I'd been married 5 times and now was living with someone, and he still spoke to me. And he knew more than that. He must be the Messiah. Come and see him. And they came with me. They came with me to this well. And when we got here, he was still here with his friends. And they started asking him questions. And after a while, they invited him to stay in the village for 2 days. And he came with us. He came and stayed with his friends for a couple of days. Oh, and what a wonderful time that was. I felt so valued, even though beforehand I'd felt so lowly and unwanted, shunned for who I was and because of my status. But not anymore. That barrier had been removed. I was shown by God that I was loved, that I was accepted and valued for who I was. That day completely changed my life. What a day that was. What a day.